Hi guys, it's Miss Ainsley. I have our fourth book for our Ocean Week this week, and this one is a true story, which means it happened in real life. It's called Humphrey the Lost Whale, and it's by Wendy Takuda and Richard Hall, and the illustrations are by Hanako Wakayama. I see a bridge on the cover. This is the Golden Gate Bridge, so that tells me that this story takes place in California. All right, let's read about Humphrey. I see Humphrey over here where he belongs in the Pacific Ocean, and then I see the Golden Gate Bridge here, that red bridge, and I also see a bunch of little red dashes forming a path. So that tells me that might be where Humphrey traveled. Let's see. All right, Humphrey the Lost Whale. Our story begins on a sunny day far out at sea. A pod of humpback whales was traveling south together for the winter. Humpback whales are magnificent creatures that sing beautiful songs to each other underwater. In the whole world, there are very few of them, so each one is quite special, and they are intelligent. Every winter, they travel south. Every summer, they head north, and they always know the way. Here's the pod of whales. You can see some big ones and some tinier ones. They're like a little family. But even whales can make mistakes. One whale named Humphrey made a big one. Ooh, have you ever made a mistake? What do we think Humphrey's mistake was? Here he is. He turned away from his friends and wandered under the Golden Gate Bridge into San Francisco Bay. So he went away from the ocean and into the bay. Uh-oh. Have you ever gotten lost or wandered away? I hope somebody was able to help you. Everyone was surprised to see Humphrey in the bay. People don't get to see humpback whales very often because they usually stay in very deep waters. It was a special treat to see one so close to the city of San Francisco. Humphrey was a spectacular sight, as long as a city bus and as big as 7 elephants put together. He would come up to breathe, appearing as if by magic, and people would stop whatever they were doing to watch him. Do you see all the people on their boats stopping to watch Humphrey pop out of the water? Have you ever seen a whale? Then Humphrey did something that no whale had ever done. Instead of swimming back out to the sea, he went the wrong way up the Sacramento River. See, here's the bay, and here's the river, and he's going the wrong direction. The big river became smaller and smaller as Humphrey traveled upstream. He was looking for the ocean, but it was clear that Humphrey was lost. Now this can be dangerous for Humphrey because river water is not the same as ocean water. Ocean water is salty, and Humphrey comes from the Pacific Ocean, so him traveling to a river could make him very sick. I'm worried for Humphrey. Let's see. Hundreds of people came to see Humphrey in the river. They would stare out at the water, waiting for him to come up for air. Then, with a big whoosh, his giant back would appear, and someone would shout, "There he is!" He was an amazing sight. But something was wrong. Whales are supposed to live in the salt water of the ocean, not in the fresh water of rivers. A whale would die if it stayed in fresh water for too long. Humphrey was in trouble. Oh my goodness, do you see all these people gathered around the river? There's even police cars. People are starting to worry about Humphrey. Are you guys worried? Uh-oh, I hope somebody can help him. Everyone knew that Humphrey had to be turned back toward the ocean, but no one knew how to do that. After all, something like this had never happened before. The farther Humphrey went, the more worried everyone became. They wondered whether he was getting anything to eat, whether he was going to get sick, or whether he would beach himself in the river. That means if he would get stuck in the river. One day, Humphrey squeezed under a tiny bridge. It was so small, no one could understand how he had done it. Now he was really in trouble. He was trapped. So here's the bridge. And somehow, Humphrey squeezed his big body through these little tiny thin poles that hold the bridge up. That is quite an amazing thing that Humphrey did, but it's definitely put him in danger. Look, we can see people holding a camera, and this lady has a microphone. That makes me think that this was reported on the news, maybe. Looks like they're going to tell a story about Humphrey. What do we think happens next? The river beyond the bridge was very shallow and narrow. It was so small that Humphrey could hardly turn around. There he was, a whale, stuck in a tiny stream, right in the middle of a farm field. It was hard to believe. Something had to be done to get him out of there fast. Humphrey looked sick. The scientists knew he would die if he didn't get back to the ocean. Time was running out. Look at Humphrey, you can tell he looks sick. He doesn't look as happy as normal. I bet when you're sick, you find a way to tell your mom or your dad or somebody that you care about that you don't feel well. But Humphrey doesn't have anybody to tell right now. They're trying to find a different way to help him. The people trying to save Humphrey would have to move fast. The scientists, Coast Guard officers, and many others got together to work out a plan to save him. They decided to bang long pipes together underwater and scare him back down to the river. What do we think about that plan? Banging loud pipes together? At the same time, they would play a recording that would broadcast underwater the sounds of whales eating. Maybe Humphrey would be so hungry and so lonely that he would swim back towards the sound. That's kind of a smart idea, to play other whale noises so Humphrey would follow it, hoping to see his friends again. Do you think it will work? It worked! Humphrey turned around and started swimming back down the river. Everyone was relieved, but the danger wasn't over yet. There he is. We can see he's turning the other direction, and everybody's cheering. When Humphrey arrived at the little bridge, he stopped. He was afraid to go under it. He couldn't find a space big enough to go through. Uh-oh, so he got through there before, but now he's scared because it's so tiny. People kept banging the pipes. Humphrey seemed flustered. That means he was getting a little bit anxious and confused. What would he do? As the pipes kept clanging, Humphrey became angry. He rolled from side to side and thrashed his great tail. People stopped banging the pipes. Well, I'm glad they listened to Humphrey when he was trying to communicate that he was angry and scared of the pipes. Let's see what they do next to help him get under this bridge. But Humphrey's friends wouldn't give up. They knew they had to get him past the little bridge. If they didn't, he could die in the river. The people trying to save him decided to make the space under the bridge bigger. They brought in a huge crane and worked through the night to clear away some of the old pilings. Here's the crane. We can sometimes see those in construction sites. Helps us lift heavy materials. And you know, all these people that are helping Humphrey remind me of our story yesterday with the pout-pout fish and how he didn't give up when he was helping Miss Clam. Let's see what happens next. Would Humphrey notice the difference? The next day, the people began banging the pipes together again. Clang, clang! The boats moved closer to Humphrey to urge him toward the bridge. This was his last chance. Everyone watched nervously. Do you think Humphrey's going to do it? Did they help him? Humphrey bravely approached the bridge, but as he tried to swim under it, his head became lodged or stuck between the pilings. He frantically bobbed his head up and down and thrashed his tail to free himself. It was a terrible moment. The people trying to save Humphrey thought it could be the end. Humphrey was stuck. Suddenly, Humphrey lifted one fin way out of the water, almost touching the bridge. As he twisted his body, he broke free from the pilings and swam through to the other side. Here we can see Humphrey's big fin lifting in the air, and yay! Shout hooray with me! He made it to the other side of the bridge. There was a shout from the banks of the river, then another and another, until everyone was cheering. Hooray for Humphrey! They shouted. He made it! Humphrey the lost whale was finally on his way home. Look at everybody cheering. Yay, Humphrey! A whole flotilla of boats and the clanging of pipes behind him helped Humphrey find his way down the river. Finally, Humphrey arrived at San Francisco Bay. Humphrey spent one whole day happily swimming around the bay. He did tricks for the people gathered along the shore to see him one last time. They oohed when he belly flopped back into the water. Humphrey seemed to be saying goodbye and thank you to all his friends who had helped save his life. There Humphrey's putting on a show. The people who had helped rescue Humphrey also felt grateful. Humphrey had taught them a lot more about humpback whales. He had also become a good friend. Many times during his ordeal or journey, Humphrey could have simply flicked his tail and overturned boats carrying the people who were trying to help him. But he never did. He seemed to understand that the people were his friends. Finally, in the late afternoon fog, Humphrey swam under the Golden Gate Bridge and back out to sea. Humphrey the whale had made it. He was finally home. So that was our true story of Humphrey the whale. I am so glad that the people of San Francisco were able to help him get back home where he belonged. I hope you enjoyed reading a nonfiction story with me today, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.